Welcome. Vinny, the club moves from Brooklyn to Los Angeles in 1958 after the 57 season. What were your thoughts, what were your feelings at that time?
Well, they were bittersweet. First of all, my family, everyone that I knew and loved, was back in New York. And I had the job, and by that time, by the end of the 57 season, I had been working 8 years with the Dodgers, and I was reasonably accepted by the people in New York. I think part of it was the fact that they knew this was a kid from the streets. This is a kid like us who played stickball and did all of the other things. And so they were very good and kind to me as I stumbled my way through trying to learn how to do it. So then when the time came to come to Los Angeles, I had bittersweet feelings. Bitter in the sense I had this job, I was accepted, and now I'm leaving. And God knows what the reaction will be when I go to Los Angeles. But it was sweet because they were nice enough to ask me to come along. Because there was the thought, Mr. O'Malley was somewhat badgered by the people out here that you should use the local announcers in Los Angeles. And Mr. O'Malley was an extremely loyal man. And he said, no, Jerry and Vin are my announcers, and they're coming with us. And so that was the sweet part. At least we still had a job. And probably the best thing that happened, we were in the Coliseum, which among other things you'll know is certainly not for baseball. But the first year, what the Dodgers did, they made a decision. Do we bring an old team out here with familiar names, or do we bring young kids out and process to build a winner? They opted to go with the older names, which was a very good decision in the sense the people in Southern California back then, they knew of the superstars, they knew of Stan Musial and Willie Mays, but they didn't know the rank and file player. And they were also going to be sitting in a football stadium 70 some odd rows away from the action. And the best break we ever had, the transistor radio. The transistor radio, I think, really helped us, and I had fun with the crowd because they would bring the transistor, not really to listen to me. It would have been any new announcer who came out here to learn about the other players. But after a while, we were all so aware of the transistors, the feedback coming from the crowd. And that's why one night I asked the crowd to sing Happy Birthday to one of the umpires. And that was the first time in history, I think, a crowd at a ballpark, all together, 50, 60,000 people sang Happy Birthday, Frank, to Frank Sikori, who was the umpire. And I had a lot of fun, and that brought us much closer to the fans, and it brought the fans much closer to us. So along the way, as you get the idea, I was given so many good breaks, so much good fortune, that all I can do is tell you that I should be on my knees every day of my life giving thanks. I have really been blessed.
It's really funny. Last night, Joe Hemrahi and I were at the ball game, and to our immediate right was a fan listening to the game on his transistor radio, sitting right in front, so things don't change. In the interest of time, and we really appreciate you all coming out on this day today, and hello to some great friends from the Dodger organization and some other organizations who are here today. It's really great to see you. Billy Delury, who just celebrated his 62nd year with the organization. What I'd like to do is I'd like to open it up for a few questions to Vin. We are going to keep this short so we can get him back.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Vinny, it's just an honor to talk to you, and I just want to thank you for all the great memories you've given us.
Thank you.
A very just simple question. What World Series ring are you wearing?
This is 1988, the last one. I'll tell you one interesting story. I had all of the World Championship rings except 1955. The background being that back in the 50s in Brooklyn, the only people who got the World Series ring were those in uniform and a few other people in the front office, and that's all. One day, a few years ago, Tommy Lasorda's wife, Jo, was at Mass, and after church, when she came out, a man came over and said, "Aren't you Mrs. Lasorda?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "My name is so-and-so. I'm from Brooklyn." "Oh," she said, "that's nice." And he said, "In fact, I worked for the jewelry company that made the 1955 World Series ring." And Joe said, "Oh my gosh, that's the one ring no one has." He said, "Well, I still have the mold." So she called Peter O'Malley, and Peter then contacted the man, and Peter had 2 rings made, only 2, so that had to cost a lot of money. And he gave one to Tommy, and he gave the other one to me, because I never had that 55 ring. So I have all of them, starting in 55 through 88, and this finger is getting tired of this one and wants a new one. So,
Yeah.